Hello everyone, welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin and today we're going to be diving in to look into your February blessings as well as the highest energy, lessons, relationship messages, as well as any advice from Spirit. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back my beautiful kindred spirits and anyone new who is joining us here for the very first time for these readings. I put out new readings every single Monday for you to check out if that's something you're interested in, for love, for career, for spirituality, for reconnecting with yourself and your intuition, and so much more. So if that's something that you're interested in, then definitely feel free and consider subscribing to join this kindred space. As today we're going to be looking into your February. So as I mentioned in the intro, this is all about all sorts of different messages, but most of all the blessing that's coming in as the central focus, but also the energy, lessons, advice from Spirit, and also relationship messages, which kind of segues me into the offerings that I'm going to be doing this month. If that's something you're interested in to support this channel as well as support yourself, I will be offering some more snail mail readings, but instead of the 2022 readings that I was doing last month, this time we're actually going to be looking into your relationships, and not necessarily only for Valentine's relationships that are more romantic in that sense, but also relationships for family, for friends, for yourself, inner child relationships, relationships with Spirit and your guides. We could really dive into all sorts of different nuances within the relationships in your life. So there's definitely no limit here, and also there's no limit on who you are and who you embrace who you are within this as well. All sexualities, genders, all of that is welcome for this as well. But these readings, as I mentioned, are going to be snail mail readings, so they are sent in the mail and they are typewritten on a vintage typewriter just for you, and are wax sealed closed as well, so they are for your eyes only. On top of that, this time there are 3 different options. The first option is a 4-card spread. This one looks into the heart and the mind within your reading, and also the specific relationship that you're looking into and any advice moving forward within that relationship. For the second option, it is a 7-card reading, where this one looks into your sunset and sunrise, your past, and moving into the journeys on their way in energy for a specific relationship. So we're still looking at one specific relationship, any advice coming in, lessons, as well as your head and your heart energies as well. And the third option goes really deep. It is like a love starburst kind of reading. So this one goes into 4 different types of relationships, the advice for that relationship from Spirit, as well as any lessons you may be learning and growing through within that relationship, and where that's all kind of leading towards yourself. So it definitely has like this feeding energy, and it moves and shifts and has a lot more nuance. You can look a lot deeper and see how your relationships are even working together or against one another. So if any or all of those 3 different types of readings are really sparking your interest, or even the additional add-ons with magical sigils and also the custom handmade paper that I create as well, then definitely feel free to check that out down below. I'll have so many more graphics and info on my Instagram for you to visually see the different spreads and really look into the nuances of each of them. But this is such a great way to look into your relationships. It's such a great way to celebrate your relationships and strengthen them. So not only is it a great way to support this channel, but also to support yourself. So I'm really excited about these. They're so much fun, and this is actually the kind of anniversary of me doing my snail mail readings, as last year was the very first time I started getting into them back in February. So I'm really excited about this. It's such a kindred time, and I hope you do join in this month. So all of the information, as I mentioned, will be down below, so definitely have a little look-see, and I will see you there. But as for today, we're going to go ahead and start looking at your piles. So in honor of doing snail mail readings for an entire year, I thought it was perfect to actually use wax seals for each of the piles as well as a crystal. So for pile number 1, we have the crystal here of Jade. So this is the crystal that we have. It's a much darker shade of gray, shade of jade, and it's a really beautiful deep green. On top of that, you also have this specific sunflower here with this golden light for your wax seal for pile number 1. For pile number 2 here, your crystal is Pyrite. So here you are with Pyrite. It is this orangey, golden, metallic crystal. On top of that, you also have more metallics coming in here with the gold, but this time you have more of like this sigil-esque kind of moon, almost high priestess-like sigil. So that is pile number 2. And lastly here, the crystal for pile number 3 is strawberry quartz. So it's more of this red quartz. And it's very beautiful, very similar to rose quartz, but more strawberry-like. And then the wax seal rather, is a golden wax seal with yellow and a bee on the front. So that is pile number 3. So before you choose your pile, I do want to give us a second to really pause and take a breath so you can really dig into your toes, into your intuition here, and see which one really calls to you. So let's go ahead and take a deep cleansing breath together here now. And as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles. You can choose 1, 2, 3, or you can even choose a pile, flip-flop, change your mind. There really is no right or wrong way to this, so feel free to have some fun. All of the timestamps will be down in the description below, as well as within the chapter marks of the video. As I said earlier, definitely feel free to reach out or check out the snail mail readings that I have for different relationship and love readings for Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day, and just in general for the month of February, and any other ways to support with the Kindred tip jar, and also by following more of the offerings that I have on my Instagram. So definitely feel free to check all of that out, subscribe, all that fun jazz, and we're going to go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this specific stamp with the sunflower as well as this piece of jade, then this is the pile for you. Today we are going to be looking into your February blessings, the biggest and highest energies of the month, your lessons and goals, as well as a relationship message, affirmations, and charm casting. So we're going to be going through quite a lot here using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, as I mentioned previously, and then also several different oracle decks and the Muse Tarot, but you can check out all of the different materials I'm using down in the description below. But yeah, we are going to be looking into February for you and all that it encompasses. So with the tarot deck here, we are going to first look into 3 cards to see what you have coming in for the month in terms of like the highest energies affecting you and working with you this month. So feel free to send your energy in and we'll get started. So group one, what do you have coming in for the month of February? Any energy, insights, or guidance? Let's see. I want to see if we got another one here before I pull that one up. Here. Okay, let's see. The Knight of Voices is the first one to come up here. I always like this one with the circle. I always feel like I'm very drawn towards it with this like cyclic, that's not how it said, I'm going to put it on the screen. But basically, it's not a linear form of moving through something, but something that comes in a cycle. So something about cycles is coming in with me with that specific card. Sometimes words even escape me, which maybe has something to do with this card, but probably has more to do with me. So we're going to keep going. So feel free to send your energy in. Let's keep on looking here. For group one, what do you have coming in for the month of... Okay, so we have for the month of February, you also have here the 3 of Materials. I love this card. It's got this idea of braiding things together, bringing things back together, this feeling of teamwork and community, mixing ideas, especially since you have the Knight of Voices. It definitely feels like you have, like I said, that cycle feeling. So it may be that you have people coming back in that you want to be working with this month or reconnecting with this month, even in a friendship way. So let's keep looking for more. So group one, what else do you have coming in for the month of February. Oh, you also have the Empress. I love this card too. Wow, such a beautiful, powerful, and expansive month is what I would say, especially with that Empress. Like, look at how expansive they are. They have the entire universe that they're birthing from like their heart center, and they are so nurturing, creative, and expansive. They have so much that they bring to the table. So I really think you have this like creation of like, I feel like you're a person with like a bowl in front of you and all these little ingredients that you're putting in the bowl and trying to mix together and mingle together. And I'm really getting that with the Empress energy, which also is the number 3. So we also have the number 3 showing up here, as well as the 3 of materials. So there's definitely something about 3, 333, 33. I personally see 3s or 333 to be a very creative number, a number of creation. So again, there's a lot having to do with maybe creative energy, wanting to work together in a team to create something. And also having like with the Knight of Voices, like I said, there is this feeling of like this has happened once before, or you've worked with these people before, or you're reconnecting with someone. And especially since we have the voices, the Knight of Voices, this is a very quick knight. Of all of the different knights in the deck, this is the quickest, the fastest thinker, which sometimes means that you maybe need to slow down and really think through things, which is maybe why there's a good thing to have, you know, a whole community of people to be braiding ideas together and working together as a team, because otherwise on your own you might, you know, skip a few steps or move a little too quickly or miss something or misstep something. So I think it's really wonderful that you do have this close-knit team that's coming together and braiding ideas. I love that idea of braiding ideas. So those are your first couple of energies here. Let me see if there's anything else. The last thing that I wanted to mention too with this 3 of materials and Knight of Voices energy is to make sure, and even when you have that Empress energy, there's this idea of wanting to maybe be front and center when it comes to these. So you may be a leader of this group, but I think that it's really important to make sure if you are a person leading a group, either if that means that you are at your workplace leading someone in a team kind of project sort of way, or if it's within your family, you know, you're working as a team to make supper or whatever it may be the context within this month, if you're just tending to meet up with a lot of people and work together to braid those ideas, making sure that you, even if you are like, you know, that the leader, that you're still able to really look at people from eye level, right? Like when you're looking at a child, yes, you may be older than them, but you can still kneel down and look them in the eye. So this is about making sure that to come down from your pedestal as well, seeing as you're so high in the sky, right? To come back down to earth and really hear their ideas out and hear someone out as well, because I feel like your voice could drown out the other. So I think that's also something that's important to come in for your month, is making sure to really hear people out this month, taking time to really listen to what someone has to say, the ideas that they're going to bring to the table. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but there is something about, you know, co-creating together, you know, creating this expansive universe by listening to other people, right? You can't always just create from within. Sometimes you have to create with the power that others can lift you up, with community and with their personal ideas that they bring to the table, because they have all these new perspectives that you don't have access to without them. So with all of that in mind, let's go ahead and look at your blessing card for the month. So this one is specifically the blessing that's coming in for you for the month of February. So feel free to send your energy in. I'm always excited to see what you guys get for these ones. So let's see, what is your biggest and highest blessing for the month of February? Ooh, so beautiful. We have another circle with a moon this time, but it still is very light and airy. So let's see what it says here. It is the Luna Moth. It says here, radiate. So again, you're radiating out. I definitely feel like you're a leader, or even if you don't want to be leading the situation, sometimes we find ourselves in that leadership role just naturally. And it seems like I said, there's something about needing to radiate your light, but making sure you're not outshining other people. But I do think that your light is still going to be really useful as a tool for people. How am I the light in the darkness is what it says here at the top. How am I the light in the darkness? So this is about you radiating your own light from within, radiating from your center. So when you do bring your ideas to the table, if you do want to expand on something in your life, create something new, even if it's not in a group project, if you just want to expand where you live, or expand in your perspective on life, or expand the amount of books you're reading, or whatever it is, whatever you feel like you want to use the word of expansion for and creation for, I think it's really important to radiate your own ideas on that, doing something that's maybe a little different, as well as a focus is what I'm seeing as well this month, is really focusing and narrowing in on a few things to work on. Because you have all of these team projects, because you have all this expansiveness, I think it's important to make sure to not feel so overwhelmed by it, right? Because you can look at this Empress and it's like, yes, it's expansive, but it also can be overwhelming if you do open that gate too far. So making sure you can focus. So what I'm thinking with this specific card, it really reminds me of a Luna moth, right? They would be that light in the darkness. So would a flashlight. So if you're out with a flashlight, you obviously can't shine it on everything, but what you are shining it on, you put all of your focus, all of your drive into it. So I think that your biggest blessing is being able to focus on the light, being able to focus on gratitude, being able to focus on a few specific goals, and that could be really useful to you, a useful tool with gratitude and that focus. There's so much drive and yes, go get it kind of energy that I'm loving about your month. So if you've been feeling kind of stuck lately, this is also a blessing of just you're finally going to be moving and finding that light. Not that you've ever lost that light, right? It lives within us, but there is something about sometimes people dim our light. Sometimes we have, just seasonal reasons why things feel a little bit dimmer. And I feel like you're going to be brightening things back up in your own personal space. So from there, I want to take a quick second to pull a card here with the Language of Flowers deck to look into a specific relationship in your life as we are moving into February. And for those of you who celebrate, we do have Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day, however you want to see it or celebrate it or not celebrate it. Either way, relationships, family, friends, relationship with spirit, yourself, or romantic relationships are really important this month for a lot of people. So I really want to look into a specific advice message or relationship message for you for this month. So if you have a specific relationship in mind, you can send that energy in, but we're going to see what comes in for the collective here for a relationship message. Okay, so what we have here is Xena, absence. What is not here is the key. So whenever I see this one, it tells me that either you're feeling, at least within your relationships, that there's an absence. You're not currently seeing this person. You're not currently able to maybe access them as easily as you were before. Or maybe you needed a little bit of a break from them. Maybe you needed a little bit of space. So see how this resonates for you. See how it can be useful to you. Because sometimes taking space, sometimes giving another person space, right? You can definitely have a very high voice that can kind of take down other people's voices or dim them down a little bit. So it's making sure that you allow other people to speak up, and sometimes having an absence of your voice to have them be able to rise up and speak could be really useful as well. So see how this resonates, but I'm going to put this one down right here for you. The last two cards that we're going to pull here today before we do your watercolor affirmation and your charm casting is two cards from this deck. So we're going to be pulling one card for a specific lesson that you'll be learning within the month. So these are things that maybe it's a lesson you've already learned previously and it's just coming back to the surface, or this, especially with the cycle energy that you have. But there also could just be a lesson that sort of shows up and it could be really useful to you for the month. And then we'll also pull another card for advice from spirit. So if you work with any spirit guides or you have your spirit team around you, feel free to invite them for this reading. But let's go ahead and look first into your lesson for the month. Group one. What lesson is Group 1 going to be learning and growing and expanding within for the month I think it's actually this one, for the month of February. So, okay, we have the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords talks about moving from one place to the next, from moving from one place to the next, from moving from a place that wasn't really working for you. You can almost see it in this card, right? All of these are looking downward, and then you're going to start trying to move towards a path that is upward, trying to shine your light that's coming through in multiple ways. So this is wherever you're feeling like there's darkness in your life, or you're feeling like things are just not really working out, or you're feeling frustrated in them. This is about expanding that, opening up a little bit more space to feel that. And I think that that's going to be coming in so you can move towards another space, because if you stay in the darkness and don't shine or focus on some of those and give a little bit more gratitude, love, and grace towards yourself, I think that it can be a lot more difficult to move forward, right? Because we're going to be taking that with us, taking that energy and kind of stuffing it somewhere within our body, within our place, within ourselves, that is lingering. So this is kind of both an advice and sort of a lesson for you to realize what you're kind of holding on to in the dark and how you can shine light on that, and that can actually be really useful to you and a useful tool to you to feel those emotions, rock through them for a bit, and then find your way to the other side. So there you are with the Six of Spades, or the Six of Swords in this case. But let's see your advice from Spirit for the month. So any advice that Spirit would like to bring towards you this month, or even your higher self. Group 1. Okay, so we also have the Three of Cups. So sweet. So the Three of Cups and the Three of Pentacles that you already had recently are very, very similar cards. They talk about teamwork. They talk about coming together, where this one has more of a teamwork message, braiding together those ideas, that close-knit. This is also very close-knit, but more in like a social gathering kind of way, reconnecting with friends, kindred spirits, people who really light you up, right? Light is very important. Lightening up your life. That's totally what we're getting. Expansiveness and light are like your biggest blessings coming through. But I think also friendship and being close to close-knit kindred spirits are going to be really helpful, and a really good advice for you this month is to reconnect with them, to those who you feel really close with, and really connect and be present with them. I think that's going to be really great, and show gratitude towards your differences in opinions and in perspectives, because that's what gains that expansiveness for you. So, I love this. I am going to go ahead and pull you one of these watercolor affirmations, but do stay tuned, like I mentioned before, because we will be doing the charm cast, and you get more nuance with those, because we're going to be casting them on top of the cards to give you like that last little cherry on top. But these ones you can use during the month to write in your planner, to talk to yourself in the mirror with, to reconnect with daily, however you want to see or use them. But they're a great tool for the month, so let's see what comes in for those. For group 1, what affirmation is coming through for group 1 for the month of February? That one just like flicked right out. Okay, so we have let's try again. Let's try again. This is about allowing yourself the space. And earlier I talked about that grace period, right? Giving yourself a grace period, right? Sometimes we come back in cycles and we have to work through some stuff. And it's not always easy, but when we shine that light, when we remind ourselves that we aren't perfect, that we can always, any day, any time, start over, have, new goals and new things that we want to start over with. That's totally okay, right? I could start this video and then be like, nope, I think I'm going to just start over and try again, right? There's always that possibility that's always available to us. And sometimes we feel so committed to where we started and how far we've gotten up that mountain that we forget that we can still walk back down it, reroute, where we're heading like a GPS, because that's always available to you. So I'm going to set this one right here, and we're going to go ahead and pull those charms. But if you are liking this reading so far and you're finding it really useful, definitely feel free to give this video a like. It helps so much, and I appreciate everyone who has liked the video so far. But we're going to go ahead and move on to your charms, so feel free to send your energy in, and I'm going to start mixing them up. Okay, so we have a few that came in here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in so you can see a little bit better here. So this is what we've got. We've got a few different ones that have come up. So I'm going to start here up at the top. So first off, the thing that drew me the quickest and the fastest is the safety key. This is the key, if I can pick it up, is the key of structures and safety and guarding your space and making sure it is sacred and is yours. This can be putting up boundaries. This can be making sure to give yourself a space that you can carve out and call your own, that you can feel safe within. But sometimes it can also hold us back, right? Safety can also hold us back from where we want to expand. And seeing as it fell right here between both the Knight here, which is all about forward movement, wanting to move forward, wanting that free spirit, and then the Empress, which is all about expansion, I definitely see that safety being more of like opening yourself up, opening that door a little bit and just peeking out, and seeing what could be around the corner. And what I think is also really cool is that you got the community cards, or charm rather. This is about your community, coming together with your community. This doesn't have to be like physically your community, like your town or your city, but it can be like if you go to any clubs or if you have a community online or something like that. This is about reconnecting with those people, and seeing as you had it fall on that like leadership card with that fast direct movement of the Knight here, and very close to also the braiding and teamwork card, I definitely could see this being your community as well. Other things that we have showing up here, we have the kind of like religious message here. This can be religious, spiritual, however you see it. It can be like a God's eye or something very different across, however you see it. But I always see this as however you are spiritual or religious, this is coming through, and maybe that is something that you're also going to be expanding upon or creating with, using creation, getting out colors, drawing, painting, or being very creative with your spiritual or religious practice. Other things we have coming in here is we have the feather. The feather, this golden feather, I see this as signs and signals from spirit, right? Feathers can be sort of that, but it also makes me think of, like right now I'm just getting like the Colors of the Wind, Pocahontas sort of vibe, where the like wind is flowing through. So this is what I'm kind of getting from this. You could see something different. Feathers are very well-known sort of messages that a lot of people get with signs, but also, seeing as it fell between radiate, where you want to radiate and let that light be bright, and then also sort of again shining that light on things that maybe are dark in your life, I think seeing that message of like the colors of the wind, letting it like breeze through you versus having to be something that is so like I'm going to go work on this, I'm going to work on this lesson within myself, letting like things be more flowing this month could be really useful as well. The last card that we have a charm here on, we have two left, here on the Three of Cups, which is all about community, coming together, seeing friends. You have the gun. In this case, I always see this more as like, don't jump the gun, don't try to go too fast. So if someone isn't ready to reach out to you, or maybe it's going to take longer in the month to actually be able to communicate or have like a Zoom call with them, or however you're going to reconnect, just making sure that you allow them that time. Maybe they need some self-care, maybe they're going through something right now, so allowing a little bit of grace for your friends as well could be really useful. And then lastly here on your relationship card with the Xena, absence, what is not here is the key. You also have the paperclip. So this is the larger paperclip. I always think of this as something that is temporary, that is a temporary energy. This isn't going to stay forever. So if you're currently going through a situation in which you are not able to see someone, maybe they're out of state or it's long distance, this is temporary, this energy. Or if you feel like it just feels like there's not a lot happening here, it's going to be temporary. So this isn't going to last forever. So that's coming in as well. So I do believe that is all of your charms and all of your cards, so I do hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, like I mentioned, do please be sure to give this video a like, and also let me know in the comments down below how this resonated for you. I love to hear your thoughts. I may not always be super quick at responding because you all send such beautiful messages. I want to really give my time to you and really listen and hear you out and see what your thoughts and feedback are, but I do appreciate everything that comes through for any feedback, constructive criticism, or just letting me know how these really mean to you. Also, if you are new and maybe this is one of your very first readings here with me, like I said at the beginning, and like I'll say again, welcome to this community. Definitely feel free to subscribe if that's something you're interested in, as I put out these readings every single Monday, and I would love to continue to build this community, to braid our ideas together and see what comes through. So definitely feel free to subscribe if that's something you're interested in. And lastly, if you would like to support this channel even further, definitely feel free to look at the Kindred tip jar down below. It's not necessary to send any tips or anything like that. It's definitely not, but if anything comes through, or if you would like to send anything through, I just like to have that available for those who would like to, and it's a great way to support this channel. Another great way to support this channel as well is to look into the offerings that I provide. This month, I am providing love readings and readings specifically for all types of love, so it's not just romantic love, but also any type of relationship reading. So relationship with spirit, relationship with yourself, relationship with family or friends, especially since you had so much friendship coming in. It might be something you would be interested in. I do them with my snail mail reading format, so it is sent to you in the mail, and it is typewritten on a vintage typewriter with a wax seal, so only your eyes will be seeing it. It will be available in several different tiers, and you can definitely see all of the information on those down below in the description. So thank you so much for everyone who has joined me here for your pile, and I'm wishing you the best in the future for this entire month of February. Definitely shine your light, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hello Group 2, if you've decided to choose this specific stamp or wax seal, as well as this piece of pyrite and these moons, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to set this down right here for you so you can see it during your reading, as we are going to be looking into your February energy, blessings, lessons, advice, romance cards, or relationship card rather, and any other advice that may be coming through with the charms, the watercolor affirmations, as well as several different oracle decks and the Muse Tarot. So all of the supplies and everything here will be listed in the description below, so you can check those out. But here we go. We're going to be looking into your February First off, we're going to be looking into your February energies, the biggest and highest energies coming through, and later we'll get to your other cards, which I'll explain when we get to them. But first we'll look into that highest energy. So definitely feel free to get settled and send your energy in. My brain is working faster than my words today, so if I'm very fumbly, please forgive me for that, because my brain's just working a little bit faster than my mouth is. So yeah, let's see. So first off, we have the 10 of Inspiration popping out right off the bat. So the 10 of Inspiration, this specific one, talks about repetition, kind of like the 8 of Pentacles, but in this case it's like repeating and trying to do way too many tasks at once, right? So you're trying to carry all of these tasks that, when taken, by itself, taking, like, it's kind of reminds me of, like, have you ever, like, taken groceries in from the car, and you should probably just do 2 trips, but you find yourself doing it all in 1 trip and feeling far more exhausted than if you just went twice. This is kind of that card, but like tenfold. So that is what we have first as like the biggest energy coming in for you for February. Is like almost not setting things down or coming back to them, or allowing yourself like a grace period or a slowdown, and trying to do the same amount of work as like 10 people. Which just can be quite overwhelming. I mean, it does mean you still get the job done, right? You still do get all the groceries in one go, but you're going to maybe have that burnout at the end of it, or that like your muscles are tight and tired. So let's see what else is coming in to accompany this energy. So group 2, like I said, feel free to send your energy in. So we also have the Two of Materials. Not too surprising, sees the Two of Materials also can be a little bit like they want to find balance, but in doing so, as you can see, like they're kind of teetering on the edge of balance. So it takes a lot of focus, a lot of effort to stay in balance or to stay in flow, because you have so much going on and you have so much you're trying to work on. Seeing as this Two of Pentacles, like you can see they're balancing like on this little diamond and trying to stay afloat on top of a flower. Like it's definitely hard work to stay up. So like again, I'm just getting this feeling of like your muscles are tired, you're achy, you're needing rest in some way. And it's not necessarily also that you have to rest, because sometimes the Ten of Inspiration does talk about like just needing to push through so you can finally finish something. But it does have that cost, right? It does have that consequence at the end of it. Whether you wanted it or not, I mean, it's still going to take a lot of effort and a lot of energy to stay in balance. So let's see what else is coming in to give us some context possibly on what we're trying to work on and get into balance here. So group 2, what do we got? So we have the Six of Voices. The Six of Voices, you may be moving. I'm going to set these down. You may be moving or shifting a perspective. Moving towards calmer waters is kind of like what I always see with the Six of Pentacles, because, right, you've got all these spikes, you've got all of this whole river against you that you have to try to get against to get to the other side of something. So right now, if you're trying to move from one perspective to another, from one home or place to another, you may just be in sort of this in-between liminal space and you're not really sure how to navigate it. And, you know, if you're moving home or moving house or transitioning from one place to another, usually for a good reason, like I keep getting like this isn't, like I keep saying with this Ten of Inspiration, like, yeah, you can have that consequence, but sometimes we need that push, right? I personally can procrastinate till the last minute, and sometimes this is like, yeah, I could have taken 2 trips, but I don't have time now to do 2 trips. So I'm going to really push through it and move up that mountain. And yes, you may have that achy feeling at the end, but sometimes it feels good to have pushed yourself. And I just get this feeling like it was okay, like you're okay with that, like pushing yourself. Obviously, if not, then take the other message. But I do think that the other thing about this card, though, is even though you have to push yourself to maybe move or transition from one mindset or one place physically to another, you do have spirit helping you along, right? You've got someone in your life really helping you, cheering you on, moving you forward with you, right? They're your like boat or propeller to move you forward, which I think is really beautiful. So you definitely have support that you can still reach out to. You don't have to do it all on your own. They can also help you with these trips. They could be what could help you with balancing, right? So having someone to hold the little crystal at the bottom, or hold one of these roses so you don't have to hold it all on your own, could be really useful as well for advice that's coming through already. But those are just your first 3 cards, so let's keep going. So now that we know sort of the energy that's really coming through for you for the month, I want to take a look in the Prairie Majesty Oracle here to look into the biggest and highest blessing coming through for you. So you can see blessings in so many different ways, but we're going to see what comes through for you and analyze it here in a moment. But let's see, group 2, what do you have coming in for your biggest and highest blessing for the month of February? Blessing for February for group 2. Okay, so we have play. And I wasn't planning on pulling 2 for you, but like as I was sitting here putting these cards back together, one just was like calling really hard at me, so I pulled 2. Hopefully we can make them fit on here. But the first one that you got was play, so this playful energy and what energizes you. So this is all about like making time to be playful, to play with your inner child or a younger version of yourself, really reconnecting with that creative, fun, carefree nature, which, seeing as you have so much balance and so much focus to try to get up this mountain, to try to move to this next stage in your life, playfulness could be such a blessing for you. But on top of that, we also had Charm come out with the Ladybug. I love this card so much. And it says, what if everything is already working out? Like, what if everything's already working out, right? So that already is such a wonderful blessing. 2 blessings coming through for you, group 2. And that what if everything is already working out is just reminding me, like I said, I kept getting this feeling like you didn't feel necessarily, you maybe are feeling overwhelmed, maybe you are feeling those feelings, and if you are, then definitely ask for that help or ask for other people who can energize you and play in this space with you so you don't have to be alone riding this storm or this space up on your own. But seeing as we have that what with everything already working out, like, it feels like it's a positive thing, like it's okay, like you're learning your strength, you're learning how much you can handle, you're learning and kind of maturing through this process and seeing how much you can hold, right? How much you can, where's your like tipping point? And sometimes we have to push ourselves to find where that tipping point is, to find that balance and recalibrate. Sometimes we have to like pendulum swing one side to the other until we can find it where it'll balance into the center. So I think you're finding that balance, and that comes from 1, playing with how much you can do, and then 2, with the Charm, knowing that you have spirit and yourself and other people in your life to physically help you along to make sure that this continues to happen, and knowing and having faith in yourself to be able to find that balance. So, I love your 2 cards so much. Let's go ahead and look at your other cards. So I'm going to take a small break away from the biggest energies of the month, and we're going to look at a relationship message. So I tend to do this using the Language of Flowers deck here, and definitely feel free to send in energy for whichever relationship you'd like to be looking into for this collective message. So this could be friendships, this could be your relationship with spirit, with yourself, with your family, with romantic relationships, partners, whoever you wish. But let's go ahead and see a advice message for the month. Wow, that one just flew right out for you. So we have Everlasting Davy. Oh my gosh, Daisy, I can speak. But it says fortitude, be brave, and dig deep. So in general, just in general with your entire messages for this month, fortitude, moving through something and just moving forward and charging with so much power behind you. Love that already. But also I feel like that's kind of like moving and blending into your relationships as well. So this is also making sure to have fortitude to move through your relationships, have a brave feeling, right? If you need to be vulnerable within your relationships, to also make sure that they are everlasting, like this Daisy. That also means you have to be really open and very honest, but also kind of brave. So I love that. Be brave, dig deep. So you might have to dig a little deeper. You might have to, or maybe you even want to kind of dig a little deeper into a relationship, make it stronger, and gain some of those roots that you're looking for. So that's also a wonderful one for you. So the last 2 cards that I'm going to pull before we do your watercolor affirmations and also your charm cast to get those more subtle, nuanced messages for the month, I'm going to use this specific deck to look into a lesson card for the month. So something you're going to be growing and working through that's going to be a lesson you can look back on and be like, yeah, I worked through that. And then you're also going to be receiving an advice message from spirit. So that could be from your spirit team, your higher self, from angels, guides, whoever you wish to call in for that. So first we'll get your lesson card. So group two, what do you have coming in for a lesson for the month of February for group 2 here? Okay, so we have the Jack of Pentacles. This is kind of a fortitude message, very different than a lot of the knights within your You know what's coming through for me? I guess the first thing I was going to say, though, is usually a lot of the knights are very go, go, go oriented, or they have a lot of passion, drive, intelligence, whatever it is. But this Jack always, or this Knight of Pentacles, always is very much a slow mover. They take their time. They really consider everything before they move forward. They can honestly sometimes play it safe, which is not always a bad thing, right? Playing it safe. That's that person that goes out 2 different times to the car to get the groceries versus just doing it all in one go, right? They think ahead a little bit more in that aspect. But seeing as this is your lesson, this is telling me that maybe you've been in your safe space for a while, and this is why you're pushing your boundaries, pushing your space, pushing how far your balance is. And instead of staying perfect in equilibrium, I think you're like wanting to kind of swing that pendulum, see what happens, and play in that space. And sometimes we need the ability to make mistakes and try something new, and maybe it doesn't work out, but at least we tried. And I think that's what's coming in for me most with this card, is that you're going to be learning what your comfort zone is, or maybe even moving from one comfort level and kind of opening that space a little bit, expanding it a little bit to see a little bit farther from what your comfort zone was when you began the month. So yeah, very wonderful card, a beautiful lesson as well. It's very empowering. So let's see what else is coming in. So now feel free to send your energy as well as your higher self or spirit or whoever you would like to for this specific card to see any advice that's coming in for you for the month of February. So here we are with the 7 of Clovers, or also known as the 7 of Wands. So the 7 of Wands also has a big fortitude vibe, right? They usually have a bunch of people sort of getting in their space. Like, this is you, and then as you can see, there's a bunch of people. It's like 5 to 2. So this is about people being in your space, in your bubble, trying to give their opinion, trying to tell you what you should do, what you shouldn't do. And this is you standing your ground and saying, hey, I may make mistakes, I may mess up, I may be doing something that maybe I shouldn't be doing, and maybe there's a better way to do it, and maybe I shouldn't procrastinate, maybe I shouldn't have taken and done this or done it that way. But those who truly know you or really want to support you are going to know you're going to make mistakes, are going to know that you're going to be working through something. They want to help balance you out. Yes, of course, everyone wants to kind of bring people back to equilibrium. But I think playing and trying something new is scary. It is vulnerable. It is that everlasting daisy that we had coming in with be brave and dig deep. So this is honestly what I'm getting mostly from this card for you from Spirit, is the advice of just allowing yourself to mess up and owning those mess ups and knowing that it's okay that you tried something new, and that's totally okay, and standing your ground and being like, yeah, I did that. Maybe it wasn't perfect. Maybe I still need to, figure it out. But I'm still moving from one place to the next. I'm transitioning to be a better person, and I think that that's a valuable lesson to be moving through. So love that as well. So goodness, I love your pile so much. It's so uplifting and empowering, and there's just such this deep but strength that's coming through from this. But if you are enjoying this reading so far, definitely be sure to give this video a like. It really does help the channel so much, and I appreciate everyone who has, especially if you're enjoying it. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and move to your watercolor affirmation for the month. This is something you can write in your planner, something you can put on your door before you leave, or somewhere that you're going to see it, even a mirror possibly. Just so you can reconnect with this energy or utilize it however you would like. But we're going to see what comes through for an affirmation for you for the month for group. Ooh, you have 2 for group 2. You have quite an abundance of cards. Okay, so first off, we have life keeps on turning. So this is about allowing, again, that feeling of life is going to keep turning. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to do it a little bit weird, a little wishy-washy, right? Even within this card, you can see that nothing's perfectly black and white. It blends together. There's no perfect way to be holding all of these pentacles. So that's just continuing to come through, that idea. Life keeps on turning. Allow yourself to turn along with it and see what comes in. Be a little playful. And then we also have here, find the way to rekindle that fire inside you. I love this one. This is very empowering, fiery and like bold is what I get from this, very bold. So this is about rekindling, putting those logs on the fire of something that you want to grow and intend to grow throughout the month. So if you have a goal in mind, if you have something you're really working on, especially in a planner, this would be a great one to write down near your goals, and making sure that each goal that you're putting in the fire really adds to it and adds to brightening and lightening up your life. So I love that so much. I'm all out of breath from your guys' pile because I'm just so like whoop whoop whoop. Like I said, my brain is definitely is working faster than my words are, so I have so much that I always want to say with your guys' piles. But we're gonna move on to your charms, because like I said, I could talk for ages just talking about how awesome this month is for you. But let's see what's coming through. And by awesome, I don't mean that it's going to be easy necessarily, but I do think you're going to grow and transform a lot from it, which I think is going to be really important. So feel free to send your energy in to the charms here, and I'm going to mix them up and cast some for you. So here we go, group 2. Okay, so we got a few different charms for you here. I'm going to zoom you in so you can see a little bit better here. So the first things that we have here, we have quite a few that came in. We have a little poodle, we have more of that rekindling feeling. So this one I always think of as like really bringing passion back to your heart center. So we all have passions that are wanting to grow and expand from us. So this is about allowing yourself to expand those exciting ideas that are in your mind and in your heart space that you want to keep putting those logs on the fire on. So this is happening at the what if everything is already working out. So I love that. Like, what if everything is already working out? Like, how would you maybe work through a situation differently if you didn't have as many doubts? If you allowed yourself to just play in that, and maybe it won't work out, maybe it'll topple the way that you weren't expecting. But if you have the room and if you feel comfortable and safe enough to come out of your comfort zone, peek out that door a little bit, how much can be gained from putting logs on the fire thinking that it'll always work out, and giving the faith to yourself that you can have it work out, right? Like, that changes the game. The other things that we have here, we had, like I said, the poodle that's coming through. This I always think of as like grooming or beauty, or it also makes me think of like a companion, like a dog, friendship. Lots of things could come in, honestly, with this charm, and see what comes in for you. I feel like this is very personal for some of you, but this is coming in on the balancing charm, so something coming back into balance or refocusing possibly around pets or around something that you're wanting to come into with beauty or something on an outwardly level. But yeah, the other thing that I get to with this one is also with the grooming side of it, is like also carving out space for yourself to come into balance. So see what comes in there. It's definitely a few different ones. The other two charms that we have here, falling kind of between both what energizes me with the play card and the coyote, and then the ladybug with everything working out in charm. We do have the bottle cap, or bottle tab rather. So whenever I see this one, this talks about like that feeling that you get when you open a can of like pop or carbonated water or something, and that like that release of something, being able to release yourself from these ideas of what play is, of releasing yourself from your doubts, releasing yourself from that, and releasing the pressure. So that's coming in there. But then you also have, what's interesting too, is what you're releasing the pressure from is this idea of like being persistent, being very like, whenever I think of violins, right, you always think of like people who are do violin practice, and right, that takes a lot of diligence, that takes a lot of like repetition, which we had sort of at the beginning. But so this can talk about practice makes perfect kind of thing, but this also can talk about, yes, you can practice and do the same thing over and over and over and over again, but sometimes you just want to play the violin like the fiddle, right? You want to be playful with it. You want to try something new. So again, something about being new and releasing the pressure so that you don't have to play every single note perfectly, and instead just intuitively let the music flow. See what comes out of that, because I think a lot could be gained. And the last charm that we have here on the 10 of Inspiration, and almost they were looking directly at it, this figure, is the kindness charm. I always think of this as kindness or friendship or offering. It always makes me think of like gift giving or gratitude towards friends, because there's such a kindness to like someone giving you mittens, right? Handmade mittens or something like that. They put in so much love, intention, and care to make sure your hands are warm or to keep your hands warm. So this is sort of that same feeling, seeing as you had it on the 10 of Pentacles. So, and I talked about possibly having someone else come in to help you along this. Not someone with this 7, right? Not someone that's against you, but someone who wants to truly help you along, that's a stable figure in your life that you think would really be kind to you. And even though you want to brace the cold, they still made you the mittens so that you're safe on the journey a little bit better. I think that's what's coming in here with these mittens, and I think that's beautiful. So definitely reach out to them, or if they do reach out, allow them to help you along if possible. Because they may not be able to stop you from going on the journey, but they may be able to keep your hands warm in the process, which I think is really sweet. So yeah, this is your entire reading. That's everything here. If you enjoyed this reading, like I mentioned earlier, please be sure to give this video a like. It really does help the channel so much, and I appreciate it. Definitely let me know in the comments down below and start a conversation about how this all resonates for you, especially with that poodle, because I really felt like it was very specific to one or two of you. But definitely let me know in the comments down below how it resonated. I may not always get back right away, but I love to really take time to give you really wonderful responses, because so many of you like bare your soul in the comments, and I appreciate it so much. It's wonderful feedback and is really humbling and honoring, and I love it so much. So definitely let me know in the comments down below. And also, if you are new to this channel, or this is maybe one of your very first or couple of first readings here with me, definitely feel free to subscribe and join this Kindred Spirit community if that's something that you're interested in, because I do put up these readings every single Monday, and I'd love to have you alongside us for the readings for love, spirituality, your spiritual growth, personal self-care messages, and so much more. So yeah, definitely feel free to subscribe if that's something you're interested in. And lastly, if you would like to support this channel even further for these future videos, to bring in more decks, to bring in more charms and more exciting ideas that I have here to continue to lift and support this space, definitely feel free to check out the Kindred tip jar down below. That's a great way to support this channel, as well as the different readings that I provide as well, and the offerings that I provide at the current moment. And you can see the current offerings that I have on my Instagram if you're watching this in the future, but for this month I am going to be doing readings for all different types of relationships. So this could be romantic relationships, this could be for all types of love, so self-love, for familial love, for friendship, for your relationship with spirit and others, with your past, present, future self, whoever you would like to look into a relationship with. I have a lot of wonderful readings for those. They are snail mail format, so I will be sending a letter in the mail for you that is typewritten on a vintage typewriter and wax sealed closed for your eyes only. There are 3 different options for this one. So there's one that's a little bit smaller, a more medium-sized reading, and then a full-sized reading that really goes deep into 4 different types of relationships that you would like to look into. So there's so many different options and so many different ways that you could really benefit from these readings to grow and nurture your relationships, or empower yourself to move away from the relationships that no longer serve you. So with that said, definitely feel free to check those out down below. It's a great way to not only support this channel, but also support yourself. And I love doing them for you, really. It truly is a dream for me. So thank you so much to everyone who has been here and supporting this space, liking, subscribing, just being here. And I wish you the best for your February. See you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you've decided to choose this specific wax seal with the bee as well as this piece of strawberry quartz, then this is the pile for you for your February blessings and energy. We're going to be looking into a lot of different things here today. We're going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, as well as several different oracle decks, which I'll have listed in the description below alongside everything else. And we're also going to be using the Muse Tarot. So not only are we going to be looking into your blessings this month, but also relationship messages, the nuances that the charms bring, affirmations, and so much more. So first off, if you are settled and ready to go, I do want to point out that my brain is working a lot faster than I am able to speak today. So hopefully I try to slow down a little bit, but I just wanted you to be aware if I start saying words too quickly or fumbling over my words. It's just how my brain is today. But do feel free to get settled, send your energy in, and we will go ahead and get started. So group 3, what do you have? Already trying to pop out here with this 4 of emotions. I love this card because there's such a perspective to it, right? You can see the cup, but then you can also see the 2 figures creating the cup. You're also within the cup. There's so much that can be seen here. So definitely use your own intuition with this one, because I think there's a lot that you could, which did you see first and how did it best, there's a lot that could be really taking off your intuition inside you and see what comes through. But this one usually talks about boredom or not seeing the full picture, right? You're too close to something that you're not being able to see the full picture. Take some time away from it to really see the full glass. This also can talk about also feeling kind of perfectionistic, right? They're staring at these cups, but they're not seeing the whole cup that they're creating in the process or what's being offered to them, the gratitude in their life. So yeah, definitely see it's very much a cup of, where your cup is half full or half empty. Kind of which perspective came through first for you is probably what is coming through the most. But let's see what else there is for you, group 3. Group 3, what do you have coming in for the highest and biggest energies coming through, as well as any energy and insights for group 3 for the month of February? So we also have the moon. Interesting that I was talking about intuition, this feeling of deep diving into your intuition. But you have the full moon. There could be something happening significantly for you around the full moon this month, which I believe is probably around the middle of the month. Seeing as I'm pretty sure the new moon is on the 1st or 2nd of the month. So that might be something to look into for February. But yeah. There you are with the moon. There's also a mystery element to this. Again, that illusion even is coming in with that 4 of emotions, right? You're not seeing the full picture. There's an illusion. There's this secrecy or this out of focus kind of viewpoint. So let's see what else there is coming in for you, group 3. Take this card here. Okay, so we have the 5 of Inspiration, another card showcasing a ton of different perspectives. The 5 of Inspiration talks about a lot of perspectives possibly working together, competing with one another, or just making it more like an Alice in Wonderland feeling of looking through the looking glass and nothing really making sense. So wow, what I'm seeing mostly with your pile is this feeling of not seeing the full picture and feeling possibly not grounded in what you want, your vision in life, or where you want to go. There's this confusion or muddled feeling that we're getting from these cards, because the 5 of Inspiration sometimes can talk about other people, but I'm really seeing it more of yourself, working against yourself, right? You're looking in all of these different mirrors, trying to find answers, trying to seek the truth, trying to see where I'm supposed to go, and you're looking through that looking glass, but it's only just getting more confusing the more you look. And I think it's because you're looking at each of the pieces apart from one another, right? Instead of looking at the full picture, thinking of each of these puzzles as see, my brain is working faster, the pieces here, seeing the mirrors as puzzle pieces to an entire puzzle. If you look at only 3 of the puzzle pieces and you don't look at what the full picture of the puzzle even is supposed to look like, it's going to be a lot harder. So I think you're figuring things out, looking for answers, and trying to piece those puzzle pieces together this month. There can be a lot of logic to that, but I do think it's very emotional. Like, whatever you're working on for this, it's not like a logical thing where you think of puzzle pieces, right? You logically put it together and then you're done. It's very emotionally draining or emotionally even fulfilling at the end of the process. But if you stay too close and you look too, nuanced to every little piece of puzzle that you're putting together and trying to fit it all together and working too much and not remembering what the whole picture is or what the whole goal is, I think can be more confusing. So what I would say is, on a more practical note, if you are trying to work through a lot of tasks this month and you're not exactly sure where you're heading, but you want to work towards something, maybe it's time to make an intention for the month, an overarching theme. That is your full puzzle, right? When you get a puzzle, you get like a piece of paper of what it looks like in the end. So this is you really creating the bigger picture versus trying to just follow all these small little tasks on a to-do list. Like, what is the point of the task if it is not heading towards a goal? So this is about creating that full picture and really finding what it is you want in life, in just the month. And it could be a smaller question, just something you're working on for work or for self-growth. Definitely feeling more of a self-growth for kind of feeling, especially with all of these mirrors. But I don't think it's going to be an easy task, but I do think getting and gaining some new perspective, possibly taking a break from these tasks so you can really see like why was I doing them in the first place? Or if they did really lean towards that full umbrella, big picture goal, then you'll come back having more purpose towards them. And it'll feel more like with a real purpose and goal and drive in mind. So that's what I'm getting, at least so far, with the mysterious sort of perspective energy for your month. But I want to look into your blessing. So this is going to be your card of a blessing that's coming in, your highest and biggest blessing for the month, with these Prairie Majesty Oracle cards. I love these cards. So let's see what comes in for you. Definitely feel free to send your energy in, and we're going to keep looking here. So, okay. All right, definitely clear, right? You need clarity. Things are feeling kind of muddled, out of order, a little like confuddled, right? So here we are with the striped skunk with clear, and it says, what kind of release would protect clarity in my space, right? I feel like you have a lot of things on your mind. Maybe what would be really useful to you this month as well is if you have a lot of tasks in your mind and you're just feeling like, I want to work on this thing and this thing and this thing, I think your biggest blessing would honestly just getting it all out of your brain, getting it all out of your head, right? Because it's just kind of moving and jumbling within your brain right here, and it's making it hard for you to see what the reason for what you're doing is. So I think really making sure to kind of get out of the cup, even in both of these cards, right, they're kind of in a cup or in a glass, so it's getting out of that glass, getting out of that cup, so that you can really see from an outsider's perspective or an outside perspective of what it is you really want, clarity that you need. But back to the list thing, I just think like brain dumping everything down onto a piece of paper, just like literally just like brain vomit all of it out, so you can just get it out of your mind. It can be super, super useful. And then take a second, just leave it there, and then come back to it like a day later or half an hour later or whatever really resonates for you. And then you can highlight like just a couple of things on the list that you really want to kind of conquer this month or conquer this week or whatever it is within the time frame. I think that's going to be really useful to give you some like practical clarity. So that's coming in as your biggest blessing, is that I do think you will find clarity. I think you will find this space for yourself, but it does, it is something that comes with making sure you do release something so that you can protect your space once you kind of cleansed it. So from there, we are going to take a small second away from the bigger energies of the month and instead look at a one collective message for advice for a relationship in your life. So this could be any type of relationship that you'd like to send in. This could be a relationship with a romantic partner, but also within friends, family, with spirit, or with yourself, even higher self, inner child, whoever. But we're going to look into that. So feel free to send your energy in for that. And we will look into a specific message for the collective here for your relationships, group 3 for February. Let's see. What clarity can they find within their relationships this month? So we have security with the tiger lily. It says here, choose the safe harbor for now. Choose the safe harbor. So this is about also, when I'm seeing security, I'm seeing more of like growing your roots, finding something, because you're very like in the clouds up in space, you know, in this like watery kind of Alice in Wonderland feeling. And this is grounding back down into something that feels secure, back to your root, back to, you know, the base, to the foundation. So this is about reconnecting with that, even within the energy of your month, but also just in general within your relationships. So this is about feeling secure in your relationships, feeling like you can find the root reason you're here within these relationships again, really connecting with why you're in this relationship with someone. Because, you know, sometimes, like I said, you go through those to-do lists, to-do tasks, that you don't remember the reason why you started or why you're in these relationships. And so this can give you a lot of gratitude, give you perspective, and a reminder of why they can be secure for you and that they can be a place for you. But this also is telling me like another message too, of making sure that you aren't settling on anyone as well, seeing as it says choose the safe harbor for now, making sure that you aren't settling for less. Not saying you have to maybe conquer that this month, seeing as like it says to take the safe harbor, but if you do feel like you are in a relationship with someone and it just feels like you're doing it out of you know, it's just a relationship you've had for a long time, or you just feel like maybe you should keep it even though it's kind of fizzling, or it feels like it's just kind of floating around, that might be something to gain perspective on and clarity on as well. So moving from that specific card, we're going to go ahead and move on to your last 2 cards here before we do your watercolor affirmation, and use the different charms to look into the more specifics of the month by casting them directly on the cards. So we're going to be using 2 different cards from this one. The very first one is going to be the lesson that you're going to be learning within the month, something you're going to be learning and growing from and really gaining perspective within. And then your second card is going to be advice from spirit, from your higher self, from your spiritual team, anything along that line. Definitely feel free to invite them for when I'm shuffling that part. But let's go ahead and look first into your lesson. So group 3, what do you have coming in for a lesson to help you grow and gain perspective this month? So first off, we have the 5 of Pentacles. So the 5 of Pentacles here, or 5 of Diamonds, can also have that same feeling of like not having the same perspective, seeing something from a very simple view. So usually with the 5 of Pentacles, it usually showcases like a church window and a snowy scene, and you're outside in the snow and you're looking at the ground and at the snow, but you're not seeing that there is a safe harbor for you, that there is someone who has their light on, someone who's trying to give you help and try to help you and give you a safe harbor from the storm. But you're sort of you're so focused on where you are currently, or focused on tasks, or focused on something that you're not able to see the full picture. So the biggest lesson you're going to be getting, and it's just repeating quite a lot in your pile, is just clarity and also perspective, seeing the whole picture, because you're only focusing on like a little tiny piece of it, and that whole puzzle really makes that where you get that clarity. So taking time off, allowing other people to help you is really important too. If they're your safe harbor, making sure to open yourself up to that bigger perspective, that you have a close-knit friend group or family or people which would like to help you gain that perspective. So that's definitely coming through in multiple ways within your pile. So I definitely want to look a little further here with the advice that's coming in from your spirit team, from angels, guides, your higher self, from gods, goddesses, anything like that. So definitely feel free to send your energy in for that. And let's see what's coming in for Spirit for group 3 here. Okay, so what have they sent in? So we have the Two of Pentacles, so another Pentacle card. Another thing that's making me think again that this has a lot to do with, like, it's grounded in reality, but you're feeling very cloudy, very like in that wonderland space. But you have two Pentacle cards showing up for your lesson. So this is grounding back down, finding that security, finding that root center, so you're not just floating away. So here we are with the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles talks a lot about balance and finding balance. This also showed up in pile number 2 in case you've watched both, with the diamond and the person, because usually this card showcases, at least within this deck, a person balancing on a diamond and trying to hold everything together, right? It's a lot to balance. They're like juggling too much. So this is about finding balance, and I think that they want you to be finding balance this month. So to find balance comes in with that clarity. It comes in with that perspective, but it also comes in with having less to juggle, right? If you keep juggling 10, 11, 12 different like balls in the air, right? That's just a lot to keep going, and your focus is on all of those balls. You're not seeing the whole scene again. So this is another thing of that, like you're focusing too deeply into like a small nuanced piece, and there's a bigger picture working behind the scenes for you. So let go of some of that. It's not that you can't juggle a few things, but it's, like I said, brain dump all of that and then highlight the things that are important to you so you don't have so much floating in your space. So yeah, we're going to pull a affirmation, but if you are enjoying this reading so far, if it has been useful and helpful to you, definitely feel free to like this reading. It makes such a big difference, and I appreciate it so much, the feedback and just for the channel itself. But we're going to pull you an affirmation, and then we'll do the charms. But for the affirmation here today, if you would like to, you can write this down in your planner, you can write it on your mirror, write it on your hand, or in a place that you can see it throughout the month that may be useful to you. But let's see, so group 3, what do you have coming in for an affirmation for the month of February, group 3? So you have 2 of them. So the first one, we have study and learn. Interesting that you'd have study and learn showing up here. It does kind of have this studious feeling with the 4 of emotions for me. But yeah, you have study and learn. And then you also have comparison is toxic. So this may be things that you're focusing on. These could be things you're focusing on, something to learn and grow within, to study. Maybe you are a student and you're really working hard towards something that you're not able to see the full picture. Or you're looking at maybe other people and thinking maybe imposter syndrome feelings, or feelings like maybe I'm not good enough, or I'm not doing enough, or maybe I should be doing that. And you're really working the problem in your mind, but not realizing that there's a lot outside of that. There's a lot more that's happening. There's a lot more under the surface, or outside of the surface rather, for you to check out. Comparison can really be a lot to look at. When we compare ourselves to other people, to siblings, to friends, to people online, it can be really unhealthy if we're focusing on that so deeply, and we don't realize that there's such a spectrum in all of us, and that you really have, a piece of that spectrum that is really important, and you should shine light on that. So yeah, this is definitely more of a healing kind of pile so far, but I want to look deeper. So we are going to look into the more nuanced details and cast them onto the cards with the charms here. So definitely feel free to send your energy into the charms here, and I will start mixing them up here for group 3. Okay, so I had a few pop out here, and I'm going to zoom you in a little bit so you can see everything, but these are your charms. So the first one that I saw right away, and obviously I felt this one because it's quite chunky, but the first one that really popped out to me was this little locket. And this is a locket that I got when I was very, very, very young. So to me, it's like little secrets and like things from your childhood or from a past version of yourself that you kind of locked away or put away, that is trying to kind of open themselves up this month, trying to remind you of something, trying to remind you of that bigger perspective. And that's coming in within the clarity card with clear. What kind of release would protect clarity in my space? And there's seems to be a past version of yourself that's wanting to be released, right? That wants to play or wants to grow or has something to say that could be really useful to this entire perspective. Other things that you have coming in here, you have the angel charm or the angel wing, but this can also just look at it as more of like a winged bird sort of message. So see how it comes in. For me, I always see it personally as angels or spirit in some way coming in to help, to shelter, or to give advice, or to bring signs your way. So they seem to be working and bridging these signs between the 5 of inspiration and the 4 of emotions, that perspective. So they're giving you a bigger perspective, almost like a bird's eye view is coming in with that bird message. So you're getting more of a bird's eye view than just the little focus so deeply in one space. So then lastly, or actually, yeah, we still have 2 charms here actually, but we have the little dancer. So this is making me think of that comparison, right? Like especially ballet dancers, they can be very comparison driven. You know, you want to look perfect. You have to not only look fit, but also, you know, it's highly competitive. So there's this competition feeling, and even with the 5 of inspiration does talk. Actually, wait, I just realized we had another charm. But anyway, the 5 of inspiration can talk about, like I said, it felt like more of an internal battle, but it can talk about an external battle too between different people and that comparison that's coming in. So you may be feeling like you have to compare yourself, and that's giving you this like intense perfectionism, which I also talked about earlier. This card talks about perfectionism. So it could be that you're also feeling like you have to be princess perfect, or you have to be like this perfect person, and that you have to hide who you are underneath to gain that whole perspective, and part of you wants to come out. So that's coming in as well. And what's interesting too, and I turned this around, but the ballerina was upside down and on their head. So again, it's feeling unrooted. You don't have a root system, because it's like if you saw a tree upside down all of a sudden, and the roots were the ones that you saw on the outside, and on the inside is where all the leaves grew under the ground, right? It doesn't make sense. So you're feeling very flopsy this month, and gaining that perspective is going to give you a lot. And the other reason why I say that too is because this is the sneaky charm that just showed up, and it is the rock charms. This is feeling really rock solid, especially when it's also a river rock. So it's a rock that, you know, can be weathered down by water over time to really refine itself, but this still does give you that stability, right? So even though the waves of like where you should go and this perspective are coming in, I think with each wave you're gaining more perspective, and those pebbles are moving together to form that full picture for you. And it also talks about grounding, seeing as it is connected to the earth. The last charm that we have here, kind of as a bridge between the 4 of emotions and the moon here, is the night charm. So this can talk about a knight if you had a knight show up, but in this case, within chess, a knight can move one forward and 2 to the side, or 2 forward and 1 to the side. But the point is, they're always sidestepping something. They're always moving around something. It's like a sidestep. It's sneaky. So again, I feel like this new perspective maybe even will sneak in on you, and maybe you weren't expecting it too, if that's something that you're, you know, because this is your biggest blessing of the month. It may be something that's coming in from spirit or from another place that is sidestepping, and maybe you're even sidestepping the signs that are coming in as well, and like not allowing yourself to see that full picture. So definitely allow yourself to see it, because it's very easy to sidestep it, but I think you're going to gain so much more by working through it than sidestepping it. So those are all of your charms here for your reading today on February, and the blessings and energy coming in for you. Definitely feels like more of a healing one, and one to gain that perspective. I know I mentioned it many, many times, but it's coming through in lots of different cards and waves, so it's definitely an overarching theme. So definitely look through that, see what comes in for you, especially since this seems like a very intuitive message. See if there's specific messages coming in for you. But if you did enjoy this reading, definitely be sure to give this video a like. It really does help the channel so much. And I'd also love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. I don't always get to them right away, but I do read all of them. I do want to respond to all of you, and some of you bear your soul down there, and I want to give you so much love and feedback back. So definitely feel free to comment. I love to hear your thoughts and feedback, and I appreciate you all so much. If you would also like to join this community, maybe this is your first reading or one of your very first readings, then definitely feel free and consider subscribing and joining this Kindred Spirit community, as it's such a beautiful and wholesome one. And I love everyone who really brings their own thoughts and feelings and works together within these readings with me. So if that's something you're interested in, as well as the readings I put out every single Monday for love, career, spiritual growth, for these monthly readings, and so much more, then definitely feel free to subscribe and join on in. And lastly, if you would like to support this channel even further, definitely feel free to check out the Kindred Spirit tip jar down below. It is not required to send anything in, but it is so deeply appreciated. So thank you to anyone who has sent anything in the past and in the future. And also, you can check out the other offerings that I do as well. And this month I am offering, as a way to continue to support this channel as well as support yourself, is some more snail mail readings. But these specific snail mail readings are going to be for love relationships or other types of relationships in your life to look into. So yes, you can look into love, as we have Valentine's Day coming in, but also friendships, also your relationship with family members or chosen family, within yourself, within your relationship to spirit, and so many others. These are also open to all types of sexualities and different ways of seeing the world with these new perspectives as well. So definitely feel free to check them out very openly, as they are also sent in the mail for you to enjoy. Like I said, they're snail mail readings, so they are sent to you in the mail, typewritten on a vintage typewriter, and sealed closed with a wax seal for your eyes only. On top of that, there are 3 different options to choose from, so there's 3 different price points, 3 different ways in which you can receive these readings. So there's a lot to check out, so definitely check them out down below in the description, and see if there's something that you would like to receive to support yourself this February and love relationship season. So if that's something you're interested in, like I said, all of the information is down below. As I hope you enjoyed this reading, and yeah, I will see you in the next one and here soon on our next Monday reading. So see you there, and bye.